How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Dad Bod Garage. Today we're going to be working on some overheating issues. But first, we've got a huge mess to clean up. And all right, and there we go. And the only tools that we have out now are the ones we're going to be using today. So to start, we have our VCDS emulator with software. We're going to use that to troubleshoot some of the electrical issues. We also have our torque spit set and some other general tools that we'll be needing for today's repairs. You're also going to be seeing some HVAC stuff going on. We're going to be recharging, refilling the oil, and going through that whole process as well. But that's going to be for the next video. Alright guys, so one of the problems that we've been having with this car is after replacing this front bumper, we got the radiator support, the condenser, pretty much everything up front that was damaged in the accident. These are all used parts off of a used car with very similar mileage. I think it also had about 150, 160,000 miles on it. And the car didn't show any issues, but we didn't really drive it. We only pulled it on and off the trailer that I used to bring it over here. So one of the things that we've been having a problem with is the car is starting to get hot. Now there's been a couple occasions where the car has gotten hot enough to where the coolant reservoir overflowed. At that point I decided that we needed to do some diagnostics to find out what the issue is, why it's not cooling down. And one thing that we did find out is it would not overheat at all if we ran the heat inside. So that's kind of indicative of the fans not working. But it's not as simple on Volkswagens. They didn't make this easy for anybody. They're not just fans. They have their own modules that talk to other modules that talk to the coolant sensors. So it's not even like you could just put 24 or 12 volts to the fans and expect to test them to see if they work or not. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use this VCDS emulator with the software provided on our laptop, and I'm going to show you guys how we do that now to test the output to see if the fans are actually working, if they're talking to the modules, or if it's a temperature sensor or something like that. So let's go ahead, let's get the computer all set up. And then I'll bring you guys up to speed on what we found out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to plug in our emulator, and then we're going to plug it into our computer. We're going to turn the key on ignition, and then we're going to run through some tests that I did to find out what actually was going on here. So let's get started. Okay, so we want to start by opening up our software that we have downloaded. Okay. We don't want to download any updates. Okay, so here's the software. Alright, this is what it looks like. Now what you need to do to start this is, and this is a scan tool, and the software can read the scan data and show it to us in a way that we can understand it. Now we want to go to our options, and first we want to run our test to establish a connection. Alright, and there we go. Simple as that. As you can see here, it says that it found the emulator. The test status is okay. CAN modules are okay. So now that we're in, I want to run a couple tests. And the first thing I wanted to test, we're going to save this. Okay, so now, let me drag this to the center so we can see it a little bit better. So now what I want to do is, I want to test to see if the fans are even working. Let me grab a flashlight. So we can go ahead and we can use this software here to actually force the fans on. Now, because it's all done through the modules and it's not done through direct DC current, I mean, it is, but it's controlled by the modules. So what we can do is we can use this software here to force the outputs on from the module to the fans. So we're going to go select control module. Okay, this is the engine that we're looking at. Engine control modules. Okay, now we're going to go down here to output tests. All right, and that's going to bring up this activation output, and it's going to go through a series of outputs for the car. Now this is going to be like for your evap system, your cam position, advanced retard, your evap, your fuel pump. It can basically trigger all of the relays in the car. It'll do it one at a time. So we're going to start, we'll hit next, and then we'll kind of bounce through them really quick until we actually get to the fans. So once the fans come on, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, evap purge. Okay, you hear that clicking. Secondary air solenoid. Okay, that's working. Air pump, this one's going to be a little loud. Okay, that's working just fine. Position actuator for the camshaft. That's working good. Evap leak. Okay, that's all the way in the back. You can barely hear that. Fuel pump relay. Okay, fuel pump's on. Next, fan control circuit. Okay, now I'm going to try to get you guys set up where you can see this. All right, now I'm going to hit activate, and we're going to watch these two fans. So we're looking at the two fans. We've got this fan right here and this fan right here. What you're going to see is this fan does not spin, the little one. The big one does, but very lethargically. Okay, now as you can see, the little fan didn't move and that fan barely even tried. All right, and that's it. Using that information, I'm gonna assume that the fans are actually what's causing our problem, especially because when we turn our heater on inside the car, the coolant temperature stays completely steady. Okay, it actually brings it down significantly. So I know our thermostat's working, or else we wouldn't be getting heat inside the car. So let's go ahead, let's get these fans out, and let's do a little bit more testing. Okay, so to get this fan out, you're going to need to jack your car up. I've got mine up on jack stands here. All right, and I don't have a shroud on this car right now. I hadn't got that far. I just got the motor back in, as you guys remember. Okay, so to start, we're going to have, and this is the right behind the driver's side headlight here. Down here, we've got a T30 right here. On the passenger side, we also have the identical, let me get a good light spot. On the passenger side, we also have a T30 on top. And if you can see, clear down to the bottom, there's a T30 right there. So it's 1, 2. And on the driver's side, we have 3, and then there's 1 down there, 4, and then we have our electrical connection right there, and the whole fan assembly should drop straight out the bottom. Like this. Oh, yep, here we go. Should just kind of slide out here. Don't want to bust our radiator up. Push these compressor hoses back a little bit. Okay. All right, and there we go. All right, guys, and our new fans are here. Let's go ahead. Let's get these puppies open. All right, so it looks like they've balanced this with some clips here. All right, so let's go ahead, let's compare our fans and make sure that they're gonna line up the way that we want. So let's go ahead, we'll lay this one down. And we'll lay this one down. I've seen a lot of people online, they had to put the new fans in the old assembly because the brackets didn't line up. And this looks perfect. So we'll install these in the reverse order that we installed the other one. We'll go underneath the car. We'll slide these up behind the radiator and we'll put our bolts in. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get this all mounted back up. We'll go ahead, we'll start our hardware on top. We're currently vacuuming down the AC system for the AC video, but the fans came just in time because I was going to need these fans to be installed to start filling the AC system. So this could not have came at a more perfect time. Whoa! Trying to blind us here. All right. So let's get this guy. All right, German spec, it's good and tight. All right, let's get this one on here nice and tight. Try not to disturb our AC lines. All right, let's go under and we'll do the last two. Ends up perfect. I don't know what all these people were complaining about on Amazon, because, you know, they were all saying that, oh, the screws don't line up. I had to put the old, they're saying that they had to put the old, the new fans in the old housing, which I think is absolutely absurd. Aha! So I do see, oh, they got this in backwards. So let's actually flip this the right way. That is one difference there. But that's easy to install backwards on accident. Let's get that. Okay, that's on. And that's the install of our new fans. As you can see, there they are, and they're looking all pretty. All right, guys, so we've got the new fans installed. Let's go ahead, let's get the, once the AC is charged, that's part of the other video. Once we get that all charged up, we'll start the car, and we'll see if these new fans work. We'll see you then.